Captain Mikko Koivu and the Minnesota Wild getting set to battle the Edmonton Oilers again, the fourth meeting already this young season.
Well, you see a battle
A 9-7 win. Captain Mikko Koivu and the Minnesota Wild getting set to battle the Edmonton Oilers again, the fourth meeting already this young season.
Well, you see a lot of this team, granted, but to have it in such a short span of time, it means there's going to be some, well, maybe a little bit of nastiness, a little bit more physical play. That's actually good. Helps create the rivalry.
Minnesota Wild come in with 14 wins on the season. That's tied for the most in the National Hockey League. They'd love to go home and end the month of November with 15 wins already on the season. Koivu wins the draw. Lundin will chase it back into the Minnesota zone. Wild in white, the Oilers in blue. Koivu chasing. Heatley just taps it through. Koivu down the wing. 20 by going to the goal. Wrist shot goes through in front of the starting goaltender, Nikolai Khabibulin. All the way back to the other end. Right around to Schultz. Schultz along the board. To Koivu. Off the wall. And bouncing all the way down. Heatley in a foot chase here. And Gilbert will get back first until we're back out to the point. That shot got through. A glove save.
And look where Backstrom is. Backstrom on that save was all the way out to the top of the paint. And that's where he needs to be all night long. And Sutton, who's back for the first time in a little bit, gets a good shot there. Watch his shot come through traffic. But Backstrom had already established where he was going to be. And that's what he's going to have to do all evening long, because as we talked about in the open, the Oilers will crash the net. Ryan Smith is out there right now, so we're going to see how much pressure he puts on the top of that crease.
Another face-off win for the Wild. Pushed ahead too far by Nick Johnson, trying to hook up with Darryl Powell. They wave off the icing. Back to pick it up is Petrie. Leaves it to the middle of the ice. Nugent Hopkins feathers one ahead to Ryan Smith, and then Nugent Hopkins got in early, and it's a whistle down for an offside call at the Minnesota blue line.
Talk about the Backstrom domination of the Edmonton Oilers. He just loves this building. Told Wes Walz that he likes the sight lines in here, and whatever the reason, whether it's the way the Oilers play, whether it's the fact that Backstrom likes his building, it doesn't matter. The bottom line is he does have some very good numbers against the Oilers, especially in this building.
Backstrom played it towards Scandella. Collision along the wall. Cullen fighting a roller. Got it ahead to Setaguchi across the line. Through Peckham. Here's Spurgeon stepping up into the offense. Lays one back behind in the corner. Bouchard can't get control. Everly along the wing. Leaves it there. Poke checked away. And it came out across.
A good choice. Likes the old fantastic job with this young hockey team.
It's quite a challenge, even though there's a lot of talent here. It's very young talent, and he has done an outstanding job. There's a quick shot out of a scrum in front, and quick got about Khabibulin.
Yeah.
Powell was there. Quick shot out of a scrum in front, and quickly Khabibulin covers up. Darryl Powell was there. Nick Johnson was right in the fray. Powell might have gotten chopped up front a little bit.
Now, Pierre-Marc Bouchard, as we continue to chat about him, has been very good against the Oilers. Look at that. And numbers against Edmonton, and he's in pretty good company there.
This is some good hockey players.
Yeah. The Oilers, look at that. And numbers against Edmonton, and he's in pretty good company there.
This is some good hockey players.
Yeah.
They are.
And numbers against Edmonton, and he's in pretty good company there.
This is some good hockey players.
Yeah.
Payarvi will dash to center. Floats one in rink wide. Stoner reaches out and pokes it free before it can be handled along the boards. Belanger is out there behind, and it's cleared ahead to Nick Johnson on the go.
No surprise there that most of those guys were divisional opponents, because they have the benefit of playing against them a lot.
Zanin to Stoner and deep into the Edmonton zone. Edmonton 7-3-1 at home. The Wild come in 5-3-2 on the road so far this season. Across the ice.
Here they go, and we felt that.
In one at home. The Wild come in 5-3-2 on the road so far this season. Across the ice.
Here they go, and we felt that.
Scores!
And it happens the first time.
And it's 1-0 Oilers.
These guys get out there together, and they just want to take care of business early.
10 goals in 4 periods.
get it done so he can finish the game. Oh boy, they're throwing him.
Well, you know what? There was a build-up to this because of what happened a couple games ago, and so now these guys are going to take care of this so they can play some hockey.
Yeah, let them go for a while till they're getting tired.
Yeah, that's how it works. Going to answer the bell, and two mustachioed men going after it, and good bout there. Good bout there by both of those gentlemen. And you could tell that was going to transpire as the minute that Hordichuk and Staubitz circled around. And here's how it started. They got together and they just started throwing some bombs. Each of them landing a couple. And certainly, I think
he was going to, if he was...
And when to pick your... And so obviously the Wild talked a lot about discipline and when to pick your spots. That spot right there was a good time to pick.
Well, Brad Staubitz admitted, he said it was selfish. I should have let it go. And you know, he knew he was going to, if he was going to go tonight, they were both going to go. And they did. They each get 5 for fighting. So we're even up. And there's one thing off the bucket list taken care of for the night. Brodziak climbing over the boards, dashing in on the backhand is Hemsky. He draws a penalty, and as the Wild touch the puck, play is stopped in the Minnesota zone.
They have a hold, and I think it's Lundin who's going off, I believe, as he...
They take the drive is on play 2.
And going to
become very good at it with some of these skilled players. Gilbert's drive is on the money, yet it's stopped by Backstrom. No rebound off the Wild net line. Important against guys like Ryan Smith who are going to be right in your cage.
I think it's imperative.
Added up by Sean Horkoff.
If you don't get out there soon enough, then he'll take your ice, and therefore you can't get out and cut down that angle.
Come the Oilers back, a little poke check, added up by Sean Horkoff. Leaves it along the right wing, ball forward towards at the hash mark. Everly drops it inside. There's another quick shot, this time by Nugent Hopkins. It's again into the body of Nicholas Backstrom, and he does not give up a rebound.
A lot of work.
On the bounces back to the other end. In across the line is Gagne. They'll work it back to the right point. Gagne goes to the corner. Jones is battling in front. Gagne trying to get it to Jones. Intercepted by Greg Zanin. Turning and clearing off of Belanger was Brodziak. Brodziak used to be an Oiler. Belanger used to be a Wild Wings center. Loose puck. Howe couldn't come away with it. Back to the point. Belanger rotates it right. Controlled. Stopped in the skates of Brodziak, and it was kept in. Now continued and cleared the rest of the way down.
I'm surprised Whitney tried to force that pass across. As Staubitz Brodziak clearly took that lane away, and he should have gone back down low with it.
Penalty time has expired. The power play is done. The combatants, Staubitz is still in the box. Here's Eberle. That's a blocked shot by Jared Spurgeon. Eberle gets it back again. Dumps it in front. Quick shot. Another nice save. Schmid with the rebound and a stop by Backstrom. He seems to be seeing the puck very well early in this game. Nugent Hopkins sends it down low. Centered out front for Eberle. He did knock it down and control it, but couldn't get a shot off. Now the puck is cleared ahead just across the blue line. Still controlled. Now back to Schmid. They'll work it ahead on the right side. Gilbert.
Early momentum by Edmonton generated from that power play. Even though it didn't get a lot of shots, they moved the puck in the offensive zone and got a feel for it.
Schultz going back. Horkoff chasing him. Drops it off for Mike Lundin. He'll bank it ahead out of the corner. Clear to center. Reaching for it is Danny Heatley. Across the line, Heatley in the slot. A one-time shot goes wide off the glass.
Why not give it to Clutterbuck? He's put a lot of pucks in the net lately.
Koivu battling along the boards. Clutterbuck comes in. Koivu sends it across to the far side. Big Andy Sutton picks it up. Sutton played for the Wild for parts of the 2000 and 2001 seasons. Came over here from Anaheim in a trade for Curtis Foster. Might be one of the larger trades in the NHL. Sutton comes in at 6'6", 245 pounds. Gillies across through the skates of Setaguchi, who's backpedaling now and heading to the bench for a change on the fly. Poke to the line, sitting on the blue line, scooped up, and here comes Colton Gillies. A healthy scratch Monday against Tampa Bay. He's back in the lineup for the Wild. No score, 7 minutes in.
1-0 Oilers.
Scoreless game here at Edmonton after an action-packed 7 minutes at Rexall Place. I'm Robbie and Smikowski. Good news for a lot of the Minnesota Wild prospects in their minor league system as invites have gone out for the World Junior Championship, and a lot of Wild prospects are on that list, including Brett Boehmer, who played 9 games for the Wild earlier this season. Zach Phillips could represent Canada. Jason Zucker, who's already played twice representing the United States. Charlie Coyle came in the Brent Burns trade. Jonas Brodin, of course, the Wild top pick this year. And Larson, Gustafsson, and a name, Michael Granlund, that might sound familiar. He was a first-round pick a couple seasons ago. Dan and Mike, and the interesting thing is the tournament takes place here in Edmonton as well as in Calgary, and it starts the day after Christmas. So some interesting stuff going on with the guys in the farm system for the Minnesota Wild. Let's hope a lot of them get that big-time exposure.
I know the Wild make a western swing here to Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton right before that time. So it's going to be a lot of buzz in the hockey world up here for sure during that time. A lot of fun.
Puck finds its way through the neutral zone, back into the Edmonton zone. Bouchard coming in. Sutton has it, does a little spin move. Eberle leads it out to center. It'll be picked off by Spurgeon. Didn't get much of that puck, but did clear it ahead. Now dump back ahead. Here comes Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Cullen trailing, gives it to Cullen. Cullen stops, tried a little drag move, came free. Now to the point, Stoner tried to fire that one towards either Bouchard or Cullen. I'm not sure which one, but it missed the mark. Now Cullen turns, looks, fires, and a save by Khabibulin. Eberle trying to get away from Setaguchi along the boards. He does, carries into the Minnesota zone and sends it bouncing back behind Nick Backstrom. Stoner plays it off on the left side. Zanin to the line. They're offside at the Oiler blue line, and a stop. Stoner, they're offside at the Oiler on the left side. Zanin to the line. They're offside at the Oiler blue line, and a stoppage of play.
Well, this line has been terrific. We talked about the energy that they bring, but they forecheck so well that they really take whatever line they're playing against out of the game. Brodziak, Powell, and Johnson out of the game. Brodziak, Powell, and Johnson.
Belanger controls that draw, pulls it back on defense to Whitney. Through center, Payarvi, the speedy Swede, fires one on, stick save. Backstrom dives out to cover up as it slipped away from him just a little bit.
That's one thing you're going to likely see a lot of by the Oilers, or at least that's what Tom Rennie has asked them to do, is get pucks to the net. That one, not a very dangerous shot, but they're just looking for bodies and pucks to the net to create chances. And you saw the last couple of Wild chances. They didn't really shoot the puck at the net. They kind of shot it towards some of their forecheckers to see if they would deflect it. And goaltenders are so good these days that you don't have a high confidence to score from beyond the tops of the circles. So a lot of times it's a shot off legs or a deflection by someone off to the side of the net.
Lundin to Schultz to the stick of Brodziak into the crowd for a souvenir. Another face-off coming up.
Really tight conference race. First place and 11th place are separated by 5 points only. And that's why that response by the Wild against Tampa Bay the other night was so good. They'd lost and beat.
You fight and claw.
It's amazing how
to the top, and if you lose,
Cooper's right on the heel. Deflection by someone off to the side of the net.
Lundin to Schultz to the stick of Brodziak into the crowd for a souvenir. Another face-off coming up.
Really tight conference race. First place and 11th place are separated by 5 points only. And that's why that response by the Wild against Tampa Bay the other night was so good. They'd lost 2 games, 5-2 to Calgary and Edmonton. And then they came back out and beat Tampa Bay in a very good game where they got a good response by a lot of players.
You fight and claw your way to the top, and if you lose a couple, you can drop fast.
Oh yeah, like a stone. It's a make a good game where they got a good response by a lot of players. The Calgary and Edmonton was so good. They'd lost 2 games, 5-2 to Calgary and Edmonton. Tight act. off to the side of the net.
Out for a souvenir. Into Schultz to the stick of Brodziak. Into the crowd for a souvenir. Another face-off coming up.
Really tight conference race. First place and 11th place are separated by 5 points only. Right on the heels of the Wild, and Edmonton is right on the heels of Vancouver. So things transpire quickly here.
Schmid makes his way to the center red line. Lofts one in. Nick Schultz ahead off the board. Schmid has Clutterbuck tied up. Hemsky will keep it in off a deflection. Lundin to Schultz to the stick of Brodziak. Into the crowd
to know all about Steve Mack
for a souvenir. Another face-off coming up.
Really tight conference race. First place and 11th place are separated by 5 points only. And that's why that response by the Wild against Tampa Bay the other night was so good. They lost
third game for Pittsburgh against his old team Edmonton.
To head into the zone. He will keep it in. Schmid has it.
Big number 33.
60 games played in an Oiler uniform.
Soft wrist shot in on goal, and that's. He goes right up high in the air. It'll come down out of the neutral zone. It's kicked ahead into the zone. Clutterbuck will chase. Schmid has it. Schmid picks the right direction. He goes right. Clutterbuck went left. Here's Horcock leading him up through the center. Hemsky played it off his skate, fires a soft wrist shot in on goal, and that's handled easily there by Nicholas Backstrom.
Well, Mike Lundin in his second game now with the Wild, and second game of the season already, as last game was his first, and it was against his old team, and he did a good job, blocked some shots, used his body, moved the puck out of the zone, and look at this. If you can make passes like that, you're going to find yourself in the game playing 19, 20 minutes or more like he did the other night. He set up Brodziak for a breakaway that clanged off the pipe, but just to have that game out of the zone, and look at this. If you can make passes like that, you're going to find yourself in the game playing 19, 20 minutes or more like he in the game playing 19, 20 minutes or more like he did the other night. He set up Brodziak for a breakaway that clanged off the pipe, but just to have that vision, that North mentality for a breakaway that clanged off the pipe, but just to have that vision, that North mentality that Mike Gill wants to find from his defenseman, and it's great to see him. And both he and Zanin playing, Zanin for the first time in a long time, but Lundin for the first time ever in a Wild sweater.
Each blocked 5 shots in the game, so they jumped right into the program. The Wild, one of the top teams at blocking shots in the National Hockey League, is after the frozen puck, we get some pushing and shoving.
Yeah, and it's Hornachuk right in the middle, and there's Staubitz as well. So, they're going to jump around a bit. Clayton Stoner can bring it. So I don't know if these guys are going to go for round 2, but so far cooler heads prevail. And one thing that Mike Gill talked about regarding guys like Lundin and Greg Zanin was, how is their level of play going to be in the next game? Obviously, you're playing on a lot of adrenaline in that first game. For Zanin, the first game in quite some time. For Lundin, first game ever with the Wild. And you're going to have a lot of adrenaline. That's going to carry you a lot. What's going to carry you in game 2, in 3, and 4? And so obviously eyes will be on those guys that talked about around a bit.
The league is right into the
in a Wild sweater.
Each blocked 5 shots in the game, so they jumped right into the program. The Wild were the top team.
2-0.
Blocking shots in the National Hockey League is after the frozen puck, we get some pushing and shoving.
Yeah, and it's Hornachuk right in the middle, and there's Staubitz as well. So, they're going to jump around a bit. Clayton Stoner can bring it. So I don't know if these guys are going to go for round 2, but so far cooler heads prevail. And a lot of adrenaline in that, and you're going to have a lot of adrenaline.
Hopping its way into the Edmonton zone, and we'll get an icing call here, so the Wild will keep the same 5 skaters on the ice. With the Fox NF game of the week, the Fox is controlled in the offensive zone. Hemsky looking for space, slides it back down low. Everly has it there. Everly lost it, but goes right back, picks it up. Now big Andy Sutton out of the corner, fires across, an easy tap-in goal for Nugent Hopkins. What a pass by Sutton. Hemsky in AM Central. Wild win another face-off. They had done very well in the face-off throw. Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at 11 a.m. Central. Wild win another face-off. They have done very well in the face-off circle here in the first period, but it's controlled in the offensive zone. Hemsky looking for space. Slides it back down low. Everly has it there. Everly lost it, but very well in the face-off circle here in the first period, but it's controlled in the offensive zone. Hemsky looking for space. Slides it back down low. Everly has it there. Everly lost it, but goes right back, picks it up now, slides it back down low. In the corner, fires across.
The guy who
with Lundin.
Wild trying to outlet pass quite a bit here. It's not finding its mark. And that's why the Wild are getting a few icings here in this first period. They're trying to get that puck up the ice, but they're not getting that guy in between the blue and red line to tap it in.
So Nugent Hopkins gets his 11th. Sutton and Eberle get the assists on the goal. It's 1-0. Brodziak comes in. He's going to get called for a penalty, and Kyle Brodziak, the former Oiler, will dispute it, but he'll still go to the box. We'll be back.
You're watching Fox Sports North.
Well, Brodziak, watch him reach in with a stick here. Reach across the waist, and yeah, that's a penalty. And Kyle Brodziak was vehemently denying that he did anything wrong. But that's about as legitimate of a tripping penalty as I think I've seen. So a little bit of frustration there, maybe.
Second power play of the game already for the Oilers. They come in fourth best power play in the National Hockey League. Gilbert has it on top. He'll saucer one across to the right side. Quickly down low in the corner. Guess who's in front? Yep, Ryan Smith, covered up by Backstrom. And Lundin was trying to cut off Smith.
Anyway, he was not taking any ice away from Backstrom, but he was on the back door. And watch Ryan Smith. What he was hoping for is the puck got right through Backstrom as he's right on the back door there. He's looking to tap one in.
It's not the back door. He was in the kitchen.
Well, he was right in the house, wasn't he?
He was in.
But the thing is, all he's looking for is a puck to dribble through the equipment of Backstrom for a little bit of a freebie there.
He had one of those goals against the Wild on the 25th of this month, just a few games ago. And he's been good against the Wild. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points in the 3 games, the first 3 games of this 6-game series. Gilbert slides in down low to the right side. Sends it back on top, switches spots there with Nugent Hopkins. Howe watching down low, shoved in front. Cullen is there, quickly turns and dispatches that puck the length of the ice. Same thing. Ryan Smith was right on the back door, standing in the crease behind Backstrom. Belanger to center. Lost it for a moment, got it back. Big hit along the boards, and the puck is cleared back out to center ice. That was Clayton Stoner delivering.
Yeah, and you know what? When you watch your pass, and you watch it when Clayton Stoner's around, he's going to take you out.
Belanger got a touch. Jones comes in to help out. Now Eric Belanger dumps it into the referee, and it comes loose to McIntyre. McIntyre and Gillies. McIntyre moving in with a shot, and the defenseman blocked it. That was, I believe, Whitney at the last second got a stick on it.
That was a good defensive play because Whitney had a one-on-the-goaltender chance there, and it just did not materialize.
20 seconds to go in the penalty time to Brodziak. Wild already have 4 shorthanded goals this season. And away from the play, there's a whistle, and it
negate for that top 6 porch. It's
not just Richard by Brodziak out of the back. Koivu will go through to the far corner. 4-on-4 until Brodziak comes back. Horkoff has it down low, pushes it away to the right side, and here comes Brodziak out of the penalty box as the puck reaches neutral. He'll jump in on the play. Heatley drops it back on the right side. Here's Koivu. Brodziak goes to the front of the goal. Koivu back to the point. Spurgeon stops, rotates it across. Here's Bouchard. Heatley in the slot. It goes through. Koivu to Heatley. Tipped it just wide.
Boy, he was looking for more on that. He didn't get enough of a deflection to change the direction in his favor because Javi Bulin had trouble picking that one up.
Here's Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Gains center. Across the line. It's Spurgeon, not Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Bouchard's at the left point. Spurgeon goes back to the right point. Heatley has the puck.
Heatley's getting booed, by the way, because he chose not to come here when offered a trade to here from Ottawa.
They don't forget easy.
No, they felt hurt by that. Now they're letting them know.
Bouchard with a shot. It didn't get through. Might have hit Heatley on the foot. Koivu. Spurgeon hopped his stick.
He was looking to pass it or shoot it before he received it. He picked his head up and it just kind of went under his stick.
Now Bouchard to Koivu with a nice skill move at the line. Here's Scandella. Tipped in front and Khabibulin got a piece of it. They tried that play twice. That time it was very close.
Very effective as it squeaked through the pads and just went out the other side. But that's the kind of steam you need to have on that shot for it to be effective. We've seen that shot before where Heatley doesn't get a lot of deflection on it because the shot's not hard enough. That time it certainly was.
Cullen to Setoguchi in traffic, leaves it with Lundin. He'll rotate it. Scandella drives one and that went off and up and out of play. Petrell got in front of that one and sent it into the crowd.
If a guy's going to get in front of your shot, you got to make him pay. And Scandella gets a bit of a back scratcher going here. Watch as he winds up. This is a play right before it, though. The deflection that we talked about. Look at the wind up and then the deflection. What a great play there. That's what the Wild need to make that play work. But then Scandella winds up on the other side and makes Petrell pay.
Five seconds left in the power play. The Wild will control. Here's Lundin looking inside. Gives it back on top to Schultz. Rotates it across. Setoguchi battling there. Belanger knocked it away, but Cullen picked it up. A short side jam. The Wild converge on the goal, but it's cleared all the way down.
I like that effort towards the net. It gives goaltenders fits.
And the penalty had just expired, so this will be icing. Scandella steps up. Nick Johnson took the hit. Puck slid through. In comes Cullen, trying to stir things up. Setoguchi can't get it. Whitney leads it around. Held in by Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon being contested there for the puck very well, as a matter of fact, by Ryan Smith. And he'll go to the bench. Here come the Oilers back in. Gagne twisting and turning across the line. Center attempt by Hemsky knocked away. Gets it back. He fans on it. And Cullen picks up the loose puck. Tries to clear, but he hits Horkoff in the foot. Now across on the right side to Jared Spurgeon. Leads one ahead to center. Reaching out and just touching it was Cullen to get it deep in the zone and avoid an icing. Turnover. Here's Gillies moving in with a drive right on, and Khabibulin stops Colton Gillies on a great chance for the Wild. Still down by one.
Well, the Wild need to establish their forecheck, and here's a good example of what it can do. Right there, you force him to put the puck up the middle, and that's Colton Gillies trying to respond like Mike Gill wants to see him, and he gets a rolling puck and a good shot, but Khabibulin has been good to the tune of a 96 save percentage against the Wild this season, and you see why. He's way out there, cut down the angle, and made a good save on a rolling puck, which is not easy to do. You can't read a rolling shot like that as easily if the puck was laying flat. Colton Gillies got most of that one.
He's still looking for his first goal of the season.
Become another Mike Yo buzzword, response. How are you going to respond? Not only individually, but as a team.
Cleared to center. Jones trying to get around Stoner. Stoner played him physically while he tried to find the puck, then was able to find the puck in his skates. Sandin with a nice reverse against Belanger. Now to Stoner. Stoner will tap one ahead. A headman pass through the neutral zone to Powell. Brodziak tried to lead it back in for Daryl Powell. Payarvi sends it around behind. Here comes Powell with a hit. Now Powell on the wall, poked free just for a moment, and now Payarvi has it. Behind the play, Powell is laid out on the ice. Payarvi with a wrister, the rebound, and another save. And Backstrom is run over, but may have had a player pushed into him, and the Wild will clear the puck back through the neutral zone.
Oh, I think that was Jones that got in there. Interference is going to be called, but is it going to be on the Wild or is it going to be on Edmonton? Because it could be easily called either way. And Jones is the one who's going to get probably goaltender interference. Watch as they come in here and drive bodies at the net. And yeah, he didn't do a lot to get out of the way there.
He just kind of spun around and spun right into him, didn't he?
Here's the shot, and they almost scored on this rebound, but yeah, he spun around and backed right into Nicholas Backstrom, and that's why he heads off. Wild, their second power play of the period.
would like to get it going. 0 for 2 against Tampa Bay the other night on the power play.
Coming into this game, the Wild were 1 for 12 against Edmonton this season in the man advantage department.
Ryan Smith dumps it back behind. Gilbert, Koivu will send it out to the point. Spurgeon is waiting there. Spurgeon right at the blue line. Tried to flip it ahead to Mikko Koivu, but a very good play defensively in front of him by Sean Horcoff. Now Spurgeon knocks it back behind. Wild will see if they can get something going. Trailing by a goal here. Bouchard across to Koivu. Koivu dances his way in. Clutterbuck with a shot and a blocker save made by Javi Bulin. Spurgeon right back on top here. Mark Bouchard. Heatley. Bouchard. Heatley with a shot. Save made and no rebound. Clutterbuck was standing in front. Penalty coming up, I believe, against the Oilers.
And Clutterbuck drew that one by going into the crease afterwards. And is he bleeding? Because it could be a double minor if he is. And now he's getting shoved again by Gilbert this time. They didn't like the fact that he got in there after the shot. Watch his save, though. Javi Bulin looking around Clutterbuck, and he gets over and makes a save. Now watch this. Gets in there on top of him, and he does draw that. Schmid gives him a shot to the chin, and that's why he goes off. Got to give Clutterbuck credit for getting in there, because that's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake was he caught him up high and hit him in the face. If he hits him in the shoulder or something, play probably goes on. Can Bouchard keep the puck in? No. Poked free. Horcoff has it stripped away. Nice defensive play by the man who was back on the play. And that was Jared Spurgeon. And the Wild with a 5-on-3 here for another minute. Heatley uses his large frame to shield the puck on that one. Sent down. Rebound. Clutterbuck was standing in front. Penalty coming up, I believe, against the Oilers.
And Clutterbuck drew that one by going into the crease afterwards. And is he bleeding? Because it could be a double minor if he is. And now he's getting shoved again by Gilbert this time. They didn't like the fact that he got in there after the shot. Watch his save, though. Javi Bulin looking around Clutterbuck, and he gets over and makes a save. Now watch this. Gets in there on top of him, and he does draw that. Schmid gives him a shot to the chin, and that's why he goes off. Got to give Clutterbuck credit for getting in there, because that's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where
he's trying to call timeout. Ball was still call timeout and get your attention. The NFL cracked down on coaches coming out on the field this week and trying to intimidate these refs. You know Harbaugh was still worked up over that last call. Comes out there, who knows what he was doing. He's claiming he was trying to call timeout. The official wasn't buying it. He's begging the official to come over and talk to him, and instead he got a flag. He said, I'm trying to call timeout.
It's the loudest manure chant I've ever heard.
Now, the official wasn't buying it. He's begging the official to come over and talk to him, and instead he got a flag. He said, I'm trying to call timeout.
It's the loudest manure chant I've ever heard.
Now, if they had called a hold on Ladarius Webb, I would have bought into that. He did grab the jersey, but illegal contact is a different fact.
Keep the puck in, no. Poked free. Play probably goes on. Can Bouchard keep the puck in? No. Poked free. Horcoff has it stripped away. Nice defensive play by the man who was back on. Save made and no rebound. No rebound. Was standing in front. Penalty coming up, I believe, against the Oilers.
And Clutterbuck drew that one by going into the crease afterwards. And is he bleeding? Because it could be a double minor if he is. And now he's getting shoved again by Gilbert this time.
They didn't trying to intimidate these refs. You know Harbaugh was still worked up over that last call. Comes out there, who knows what he was doing. He's claiming he was trying to call timeout. The official wasn't buying it. He's begging the official to come over and talk to him, and instead He got a flag. He's saying, I'm trying to call timeout.
It's the loudest manure chant I've ever heard. Gets over and makes a save. Now watch this. Gets in there on top of him, and he does draw that. Schmid gives him a shot to the chin, and that's why he goes off. Got to give Clutterbuck credit for getting in there, because that's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake was he caught him up high and hit him in the face. If he hits him in the shoulder or something, play probably goes on. Shot, save made, and no rebound. Clutterbuck was standing in front. Penalty coming up, I believe, against the Oilers.
And Clutterbuck drew that one by going into the crease afterwards. And is he bleeding? Because it could be a double minor if he is. And now he's getting shoved again by Gilbert this time. They didn't like the fact that he got in there
on
after the
coaches
shot.
coming
Watch
out
his
on
save,
the
though.
field
Happy
this
Poolin
week
looking
and
around
trying to
Clutterbuck.
intimidate
And he
the
gets
refs.
over
You
and
know
makes a save.
Harbaugh
Now
was
watch
still
this.
worked up over that
Gets
last
in there on
call.
top.
Comes out there, who knows what he was doing. He's claiming he was trying to call timeout. The official wasn't buying it. He's begging the official to come over and talk to him, and instead, he got a flag. He's saying, I'm trying to call timeout.
It's the loudest manure chant I've ever heard. Top of him, and he does draw that. Schmid gives him a shot to the chin, and that's why he goes off. Got to give Clutterbuck credit for getting in there.
He's saying, I'm trying to call.
That's how you draw penalties.
He's worked up over that last call.
Going into
Comes
those
out there, who
dirty
knows
areas
what he
where you
was
know
doing.
you're going to take
He's
abuse.
claiming he was trying to call timeout. The official wasn't
The
buying it.
mistake was he caught him up high and hit him in the face. If he hits him in the shoulder or something, play probably
Who
goes
knows what he was doing.
Gotta
He's
give
claiming he was trying to call
Clutterbuck credit
timeout.
for getting in
The
there
official wasn't buying it.
That's how you draw penalties.
Begging the official to come over and
And he
talk
gets
to
over
him,
and makes a
and
save. Now
instead,
watch this.
he got a
Gets
flag.
in there
He's
on
saying,
top
I'm
of
trying to
him.
call
He
timeout.
does draw that. Schmid gives It's him the a shot loudest to the manure chin, chant and I've that's why ever he goes heard. off. Got to give Clutterbuck credit for getting in there, because that's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake was he caught him up high. Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake was he caught him up high and hit him in the face. If he hits him in the... Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake was he caught him up high and hit him in the face. Heatley with a shot. And one rebound. Clutterbuck was standing in front. Penalty coming up, I believe, against the Oilers.
Clutterbuck drew that one by going into the crease afterwards. And is he bleeding? Because it could be a double minor if he is. And now he's getting shoved again by Gilbert this time.
10 seconds, 6 penalties.
They didn't like the fact that he got in there after the shot. Watch his save, though. Happy Poolin looking around Clutterbuck, and he gets over and makes a save.
Intimidate
Now
the
watch this.
refs. You know Harbaugh was
Gets in
still
there on
worked
top
up
of
over
him,
that
and
last.
he does draw that. Schmid gives him a shot to the chin, and that's why he goes off. Got to give Clutterbuck credit for getting in there, because that's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake was...
That's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake was he caught him up high and hit him in the face. If he hits him in the shoulder or something...
He goes off. He does draw that. Schmid gives him a shot to the chin, and that's why he goes off. Got to give Clutterbuck credit for getting in there, because that's how you draw penalties. A shot to the chin, and that's why he goes off.
Comes out to intimidate the refs. You know Harbaugh was still worked up over that last call. Comes out there, who knows what he was doing. He's claiming he was trying to call timeout. The official wasn't buying it. He's begging the official to come over and talk to him, and instead, he got a flag. He's saying, I'm trying to call timeout.
It's the loudest manure chant I've ever heard. Getting in there, because that's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake.
He does draw that. Schmid gives him a shot to the chin, and that's why he goes off. Got to give Clutterbuck credit for getting in there, because that's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake was he caught him up high and hit him in the face. If he hits him in the shoulder or something.
That's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake was he caught him up high and hit him in the face. Hey, the no rebound. Clutterbuck was standing in front. Penalty coming up, I believe, against the Oilers.
And Clutterbuck drew that one by going into the crease afterwards. And is he bleeding? Because it could be a double minor if he is. And now he's getting
begging the official to come over and talk to him. Instead, he got a flag. He said, I'm trying to call timeout.
He got it. It's the loudest manure chant I've ever.
Official to come over and talk to him, and instead, he got a flag. He said, I'm trying to call timeout.
It's the loudest manure chant I've ever heard.
Timeout. The official wasn't buying it. He's begging the official to come over and talk to him, and instead, he got a flag. He said, I'm trying to call timeout.
It's the loudest manure chant I've ever heard. In there after the shot,
They
watch
get
this
it
save
called
though.
a
Happy
hold.
Poulin looking
Come
around
over.
Clutterbuck, and he gets over and makes a save. Now watch this.
He's begging
Gets in
the
there
official
on
to
top
come
of him,
over
and
and talk to him,
He does
and
draw
instead,
that speed.
he got a
Gives him
flag.
a shot
He said, I'm trying to call
that's why he goes
timeout.
off. Gotta give
It's the
Clutterbuck
loudest
credit for
manure
getting
chant
in there
I've ever
because
heard.
That's how you draw penalties. Gives him a shot to the chin, and that's why he goes off. Got to give Clutterbuck credit for getting in there, because that's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake was he caught him up high and hit him in the face. If he hits him in the shoulder or something, play probably goes on. Can Bouchard keep the puck in? Bouchard, Heatley with a shot.
Bouchard with a shot.
Rebound. Penalty coming up, I believe, against the Oilers.
Clutterbuck drew that one by going into the crease afterwards, and is he bleeding? Because it could be a double minor if he is. And now he's getting shoved again by Gilbert this time. They didn't like the fact that he got in there after the shot. Watch his save, though. Happy Poulin looking around Clutterbuck, and he gets over and makes a save. Now watch this. Gets in there on top of him, and he does draw that. Schmid gives him a shot to the chin, and that's why he goes off. Got to give Clutterbuck credit for getting in there, because that's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse. And Schmid's mistake was he caught him up high and hit him in the face. If he hits him in the shoulder or something, play probably goes on. With a shot. Clutterbuck was standing in front. Penalty coming up, I believe, against the Oilers.
Out on the field this week and trying to intimidate these refs. You know Harbaugh was still worked up over that last call. Comes out there, who knows what he was doing. He's claiming he was trying to call timeout. The official wasn't buying it.
They didn't like the fact that he got in there after the shot. Watch his save, though. Happy Poulin
begging the official to come over and talk to him, and instead,
now watch this.
he got a flag. He said, I'm trying to call timeout.
He does draw that.
He's claiming he was trying to call time and trying to intimidate these refs. You know Harbaugh was still worked up over that last call. Comes out there, who knows what he was doing. He's claiming he was trying to call timeout. The official wasn't buying it. He's begging the official to come over and talk to him, and instead, he got a flag. He said, I'm trying to call timeout.
It's the loudest manure chant I've ever heard. That's how you draw penalties.
Going into those dirty areas where you know you're going to take abuse.
The Oilers.
And Schmid's mistake was he caught him up high and hit him in the face. If he hits him in the shoulder or something, the man who was back on the play, and that was Jared Spurgeon. And the Wild with a 5-on-3 here for another minute. Heatley Uses his large frame to shield the puck on that one. Sent down low in the corner, and they'll set it up from there. Out on top. Spurgeon crosses with Bouchard. Nico Koivu tried to jam one in front, went off the skate in front of Gilbert, and it's cleared all the way down. Backstrom will shorten the ice and play it ahead to the blue line. Little drop pass to Pierre-Marc Bouchard. He'll stop out at the left point. Setaguchi moving across. Now he'll cross. Sends it across down low for Devin Setaguchi. He misplayed it off the back wall. Now Spurgeon to Setaguchi. Back to Spurgeon to Bouchard with a shot. It was partially blocked. Koivu to Setaguchi. Back on top. Broken stick by one of the Oilers. So they're down to 2 men and a stick. In front, a one-timer by Spurgeon goes wide. Comes bounding out front. And it'll be knocked down on the left wing side with room and space. Here's Bouchard moving in. Pierre-Marc tried to lay one out in front, and the Oilers get one man back. Here's Jones one-on-one, and it's poke checked away very nicely. Another very good defensive play by the Wild in this power play. You don't want to have to make a lot of great defensive play when you're on the power play, but they've done that. 20 seconds to go in the second penalty. That's on Schmid. Drop pass for Cullen, right through the logo at center ice. Brodziak, back to the point. Scandella waits, fires, and someone got a piece of that one right in front, either Brodziak or Javi Bulin. Cullen sends it behind Brodziak. Penalty time has expired. Good penalty kill by the Oilers. And it'll get by the wing, and that's Scandella going back to get it, I believe. Yes, it is. And Marco will send it up through the neutral zone. Now back to Clutterbuck. Clutterbuck tried to cut in front. Might have taken a knee. No arms up. Clutterbuck is hurt. We'll have to look at that one again. Centered in front at the other end. Here comes Brodziak the other way. Clutterbuck hobbling, trying to get to the bench. Here comes Gillies in. Knocks the puck down, chasing after it with Powell. Gillies tried to wrap it around. That was knocked away. McIntyre can't intercept, and it's flipped high in the air, and Schultz is back to get it for the Wild across. Now to Greg Zanin. Bangs that one along the boards all the way down to Javi Bulin at the other end. Big hit along the wall. McIntyre gets up quickly. Play whistle down. Period comes to an end.
Clutterbuck not in a good position right there, and it goes knee on.
Comes to an end.
Clutterbuck not in a good position right there, and it goes knee on knee, and he did stick the knee out, and that should be more than just a minor penalty, as he did catch Clutterbuck right on the knee, and hopefully he can skate that off and recover somewhat in that first intermission.
He chats with Kyle Brodziak heading off the ice. We'll be back, face-off and more coming up in our first intermission from Edmonton. The Wild down by 1. Minnesota Wild hockey on Fox Sports North is brought to you by McDonald's. Right now you can get 20 crispy chicken McNuggets for just $4.99 at McDonald's. By Luther Nissan. We'll be back. Minnesota Wild hockey on Fox Sports North is brought to you by McDonald's. Right now you can get 20 crispy chicken McNuggets for just $4.99 at McDonald's. By Luther Nissan Kia, where the bottom line is trust. And by Clam Outdoors. For all your ice fishing needs, visit the great outdoors at clamoutdoors.com. Second period, our Menards game reset. Nugent Hopkins has the game's only goal so far. Former Wild defenseman Andy Sutton set him up, and Wild 4-game winning streak here in Edmonton. Will have to do something that they've done many times. Allowing the first goal has not been unusual for the Wild this season.
Yeah, they've been able to fight back because they persevere through the whole game, but they got to take advantage of opportunities that have been given them. And good to see Clutterbuck out there as well, because that was we keep looking at that replay, and that was a knee-on-knee, and I'm sure that's what he's talking to the referee about, because Whitney stuck the knee out. I mean, if you inadvertently or through incidental contact bump into each other and go knee to knee, that's one thing, but Whitney's knee came out to contact Clutterbuck coming into the zone there. That should have been called for sure.
Well, here we go. Koivu and Horkoff on the draw. Koivu wins the draw again. Wild did very good on the faceoffs in that first period. Flips one ahead across the line. It's offside at the Minnesota line.
Well, at the end of the first period, let's look at that knee on knee and we'll see if everyone thinks that right there as the left knee comes out, that's if everyone thinks that right there as the left knee comes out, that's it should have been a penalty for sure, and it resulted in an injury. Good to see Clutterbuck back. He's drawing a lot of attention in this game, and it's not just because of this game, likely from games that these teams have played enough of this year, 3 coming into this one. So Clutterbuck's physical play is preceding him, and he drew a one-liner in this game.
91 hits for Cal coming into the game, putting them second in the National Hockey League. Also leads the National Hockey League in shorthanded goals. He's become a very valuable part of the penalty kill on this team. Peckham goes back, pushed into the corner there by Setaguchi. Cullen trying to poke it free, but it ends up along the boards to Eberle, who leaves it out for Smith. Back for Eberle. Eberle leads it in. Ryan Smith down low, trying to work his way against Zanin. Now gets some help down low, and Zanin will come up with the loose puck. Zanin off the boards, leads one out to center ice on the right wing side. Carried in by Setaguchi, dropped it back for Cullen, and now Setaguchi on the back wall. Peckham rubs him up on the back wall. Comes loose, Setaguchi tried to center, and it went off the skate of Andy Sutton and out the other side. Dumped back into the Minnesota zone. This is Scandella. Tried to put along the boards. Bouncing puck, knocked away there. Spurgeon working. That wrist shot goes over the top and wide. Payarby sends it behind. Belanger has it. He tries to center. Off a skate. Here come the Wild back the other way. Making his way to center ice and sending it in is Nick Johnson. Johnson goes in shoulder to shoulder with Petrie. Petrie sends it along the boards. Jones is waiting. He banks it ahead. Payarby with speed. Here's Magnus Payarby on the backhand. Cuts inside. Fires a shot, and Belanger was jumping in front. Centering attempt by Jones. He gets it back. Oh, and sent it across. Now Petrie steps up or keeps it in the zone, just barely.
Yeah, they're looking for that backdoor play again. This time it was Belanger standing back there.
Here's a chance on the right side. Brodziak with a drive, and then Nick Johnson driving in with Petrie. The two of them almost knocked it in. Hordichuk the other way. Hordichuk got a backhander off. Save made by Backstrom. Rebound cleared by Schultz. McIntyre. Now Staubitz leads it ahead for McIntyre. He goes in, shoulder first on Peckham. There's a couple of strong players. Now McIntyre behind. Had it poke checked away. Sutton comes in.
Nice hit.
Oh, and Colton Gillies just took big Andy Sutton right down on the back wall. And then Staubitz gets dumped behind the play.
Oh, McIntyre went shoulder to shoulder with Hordichuk. Hordichuk not liking it at all.
This game all of a sudden has gotten very physical. And it's been clean so far.
See how long that lasts. Because players don't, clean or not, players don't like to get hit.
A lot of shoulder-to-shoulder contact. Koivu will clear that one out of harm's way. Heatley looks up ice. Danny Heatley to center. Pokes it ahead deep in the zone. In the corner, Whitney sends it up along the wall to Sean Horkoff. Horkoff had it poked away by Clutterbuck. Clutterbuck couldn't quite reach it. Knocked down with a high stick by
42 minutes, 14 seconds of 2. Alert to exit full screen. Press ESC. Title bar. Title bar.
Horkoff, and that'll stop play here.
Play. Seek select. YouTube video player group.
And what a rush of play we had here for the last couple of minutes.
A lot of physical play, and I'll tell you, Colton Gillies, you talk about response. Boom! My goodness, Andy Sutton is not exactly a small man, and Colton Gillies just takes him right through. And yeah, Sutton was looking to see who did that. Took the number down. Colton Gillies second on the team, and a lot of people don't realize that in the hitting department. He is a very physical player, great on the forecheck, and Mike Gill wants to see him continue to play that game. And he's healthy scratch last game, but he comes right back and had a great scoring chance in the first. Just unloads and blows up Sutton here in the second. Who knows what else Colton Gillies has in store for this game.
He is responding.
Yes. That is the definition of the word.
Cullen lost it, but dragged it back to his stick with his skate. Setaguchi to Bouchard. Bouchard worked over by Sutton, but Bouchard wins the battle. A backhander goes just wide. That is a great battle for a much smaller man in Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Giving away about 10 inches to him, and they're offside at the Minnesota line. That'll stop that Oiler rush. 15:42 to go here in the second.
Well, good job here by Bouchard. He just uses his leverage against a big man and his speed as well. Just didn't get it on net. He wrapped it a little bit too tight. But the Wild looked like they're responding a lot better here in the second period.
Petrie will send it rink wide at center. Both these teams were in action on Monday as Payarvi's shot doesn't get through. Payarvi reacted as though he got a stick up high, and I think that's going to be the call. And the Wild are going to go short-handed.
Well, Zanin gets a stick up a little bit. I think it was his hand. It wasn't even his stick, but you could call her up, or you could call the high stick. It doesn't matter. It's still going to cost the Wild a couple minutes.
Greg Zanin missed 16 games with that groin injury. Came back, blocked 5 shots against Tampa Bay on Monday night. That was the last Wild game, that 3-1 win over Tampa Monday. And for the Oilers, they lost 2-1 here at home against Nashville on Monday night. Send it rink wide at center. Both these teams were in action on Monday. Payarvi's shot doesn't get through. Shot doesn't get through. I think that's going to be the call.
Oilers regain a 3-2 lead here in game 2.
And the Wild are going to go short-handed.
Well, Zanin gets his hand.
Groin injury. The Oilers. Third Monday night. Third power play of the game for the Oilers. Eberle sent it to the point. Horkoff will leave it for Eberle. Now back to Horkoff. Across, Nugent Hopkins. He's got the only goal of the game so far. Centers it in front. A backdoor backhand. He scores! A power play goal, and it's 2-0. Makes it 4-2.
That's Eberle's second point of the game. He had an assist on the first goal in the first period. And what a beautiful backhander this was. They find an opening on the other side of the net, and that's the second backdoor goal that the Wild have allowed in this game, albeit this one was a power play marker. Nugent Hopkins with his second point of the game as well.
First goal of the game.
Coming into this game, Eberle, 11 points in his last 8 games. He's kind of the unforgotten guy. You hear about Nugent Hopkins, you hear about Taylor Hall. Eberle's the other third young superstar that they have on this team, and he's having a great run. So power play goal for the Oilers makes it 2-0 early here in the second period. Second power play goal this season for Jordan Eberle. Nugent Hopkins gets an assist, and Horkoff gets the other one on that goal. Horkoff back the other way again, slows it down across the Minnesota line. Checking in is Hemsky. His shot went low and just went wide of that far post. Peckham stolen away, but Peckham swats it right back, and the Oilers gain control. Edmonton to center. It's Gagne sending it into the Minnesota zone. Knocked down by Nicholas Backstrom. Holton Gillies waiting on the wall. He's bumped there from behind by Hordichuk. Stoner sends it around behind. Along the boards, here's Staubitz. Staubitz got it ahead. Gillies tossed it away at center ice. Picked up by Andy Sutton. Sutton looking to get around the forecheck of McIntyre. Sends it across all the way to through neutral ice. It's backhanded in by Hordichuk. Backstrom along the boards. Stoner turned it over. Quick shot right on in front. And a big save by Backstrom on a quick turnover right in front of the Minnesota goal. Javi Bulin played that one away from Colton Gillies. Petrie. Straubitz picks it off. Straubitz to Cullen. Drops it back for Schultz. He'll keep it in. Fires towards a goal. And that didn't miss much. Here's Lundin keeping it alive in the zone. On the back wall, Gillies is there. Gillies around, had it stripped away. Cullen is right there as well for Minnesota. Comes free and up the right wing side. It's pushed ahead by Petrie. Schultz will take over at the Minnesota blue line. Pass ahead, just missing the mark on Pierre-Marc Bouchard. The hitting continues. Hasn't let up. Here's Cullen. Cullen looking across. Setaguchi with a shot right on. And another nice save by Javi Bulin.
Did a good job of controlling that puck. Setaguchi had that in his skate, and he basically got his body around and got a very hard shot off.
Gilbert sends that one around through the corner, out to Eberle at center. Brodziak with a very nice back check to strip that puck away. Ahead to Nick Johnson, who's rigged into the boards by Schmid. Gilbert back, off the back wall behind the boards. Pinching in is Brodziak. He successfully knocked the puck free. Bouncing around behind, now Gilbert will go in. Nick Johnson with the hit on Gilbert. Flipped ahead at center ice. Here come the Oilers back. Eberle moving in. Eberle with a shot. He's on goal, and it's stopped there by Backstrom, and he will hang on. Wild trying to get one on the board. Devin Setaguchi with the latest chance. Hang on. Wild trying to get one on the board. Devin Setaguchi with the latest chance.
Jordan Eberle puts the Oilers up 2-0 with a power play goal as we reach the midway stages of this hockey game. And here's our Sanford Health injury report for tonight. And it comes out of Philadelphia, and it's defenseman Chris Pronger, former Edmonton Oiler, underwent left knee surgery yesterday. Expected to miss about a month. It's the 5th time he's had surgery. Well, that's a concern. In the past 16 months, Dan and Mike, he's got a long-term contract with the Philadelphia Flyers, and this injury history isn't boding too well for the Flyers. They hope to make another run at an Eastern Conference title.
Yeah, he had that eye injury earlier this year, so he's had a few instances where he's been out, and they certainly will miss his presence on the blue. And the Wild are going to miss the presence of Cal Clutterbuck, who is now in the Wild locker room, so not sure if he's going to be back in this game, but I think the concern is that knee-on-knee hit, that deliberate knee-on-knee hit by Whitney continues to cause Clutterbuck some trouble.
Hopefully he'll be back, but until then, they want to make do without a guy that's been a big part of this team, not only on the physical aspect of the game, but on the power play, on the penalty kill. And was skating on that first line with Koivu and Heatley.
And replacement up there right now is Nick Johnson, who's found himself up on that spot before and done fairly well.
Stoner coming back to sweep that puck away. Sends it up along the boards up high. It's flipped ahead out through the neutral zone. Chasing it is Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Now ahead it's tipped by Payarvi back to the Minnesota line. And this will be icing as Clayton Stoner back to touch the puck. The Minnesota Wild are introducing a new 5-game ticket plan called the High Five Fan Pack. You have a weekend plan, a weeknight plan, or a combo plan. Buy 2 and you'll save nearly $150. Go to wild.com/high5, or you can call 651-222-WILD or text 5 to 83281 for a chance to win a couple of packs. As expected, it has been a very physical, chippy game between the Wild and the Oilers.
Well, with Clutterbuck out and the Wild trailing by a couple here, Mike Joe is doing some line juggling, moving some guys around.
Turnover, loose puck in front. Brodziak had it chipped away. McIntyre got a piece of it. Petrie got it for a chance. A weeknight plan or a plan called time, and this will be icing as Clayton Stoner back to touch the puck. The Minnesota Wild are introducing a new 5-game ticket plan called the High Five Fan Pack. You have a weekend plan, a weeknight plan, or a combo plan. Buy 2 and you'll save nearly $150. Go to wild.com/high5, or you can call 651-222-WILD or text 5 to 83281 for a chance to win a couple of packs. Turnover. Loose puck in front. Brodziak had it chipped away. McIntyre got a piece of it. Petrie got it ahead to Payarby, and they'll clear the zone. But there came the Minnesota Wild on that aggressive forecheck. Bouncing puck. Scandella got it ahead. McIntyre plays it ahead off the boards.
The open gate on Powell.
Here's a chance from a sharp angle that's knocked away.
Darryl Powell is the unfortunate benefactor of the open gate on the Oiler bench. My goodness. Hopefully he's okay. He's shaken up right now on the bench.
He's doubled over. We saw Clutterbuck doubled over at the end of the period. Nick Johnson lost that one behind the Edmonton goal, and the Oilers clear it out to center. Lundin ahead. Bouchard with a very skilled play between his legs to control the puck. Jones couldn't reach it. Schultz controls. Right back to Nick Schultz. He'll lead it across on the right wing side. It just bounced off the blade of the stick of Matt Cullen. They tie up at the half wall in the Edmonton zone. Cleared ahead to Jordan Eberle. And Eberle will make his way to the Minnesota line. A little dump and chase for Jordan Eberle. Lundin cuts it off. Schultz picks it up. Schultz will lead it ahead. A bouncing puck is banked ahead to Matt Cullen. Cullen got caught from behind. It was poke checked away. Dumped right back into the Minnesota zone. Backstrom. Lundin. Hemsky picked it off. Lundin got a piece of it. It ends up behind the Minnesota goal. A spin move by Ryan Smith didn't work. They'll work it back out to the point. Whitney sends it to the corner. Eberle shot it wide. Gilbert steps up. Sends it back behind the Minnesota goal. Centering attempt comes back to the point. Horkoff with a drive, and the save is made. And it's hung on to by Backstrom. A stop in the action, 2-0. The Oilers ahead.
The Oilers.
Well, Clutterbuck is in the locker room, and Darryl Powell, watch this. The gate opens on the Oiler bench, and oh boy, just takes it right in the turnbuckle and gets helped into the bench. Darryl Powell is back and skating around. At least he was during that TV timeout. So that's a good sign, but that's always dangerous, boy.
Wild trying to get something past Nikolai Habibulin here. As Gilbert fans on one. Heatley picks it up. Heatley will feather one to the right side. Picked up by Mikko Koivu. Koivu a little inside out move in front, looking for Heatley. He scores! And Mikko Koivu. Koivu a little inside out move in front, looking for Heatley. He scores! He scores! Heatley or Horkoff in front.
Or Setaguchi. There was a lot of bodies in front there, and the Wild put that line together because Clutterbuck's hurt, and I think Setaguchi may be the one who got a piece of it.
Is he the last one to the far side? Then it was Setaguchi.
Well, let's just see. There was a body right in front, and that was Setaguchi, and I don't know if it made it all the way across to Heatley. But good job by Koivu to center this puck. Yeah, it was Setaguchi. Just taps it in. Nice draw on the puck there as he toes it towards the net and through the legs of Habibulin. Great effort there. The Wild closed the gap a bit.
That's a big goal, and it's not a pretty goal. It's a dirty goal, and that's what this series seems to sometimes evolve into between these two teams. So Setaguchi back with Koivu and Heatley with the injury. Here's Powell with a chance in front, turning, and that shot ends up being deflected just wide of the goal. Big hit along the boards by Kyle Brodziak. Took Todd Jones out of the play. Now Payarby with a backhander, and getting enough of that one was Backstrom to knock it away. Jones got payback with a hit on the far side. Puck cleared but not out. Now gloved by Stoner. Stoner ahead to Brodziak. Chops it around Petrie. Broke his stick on the play and got the puck deep into the Edmonton zone. Whitney has it there. Whitney with the pressure coming. Lost the puck. Centered in front. Gillies tried the one-timer. Knocked down by Jared Spurgeon. Spurgeon shoots and a save by Habibulin. Wild maybe a little energized after finally getting one by Habibulin to make it 2-1. To the Minnesota line is Ryan Smith. Lost it. Loose at center. Puck just sat in front of the Oiler bench, finally picked up by Peckham. He'll send it into the Minnesota zone. Here's Spurgeon back after it. Trying to get away from Eberle. Poked it ahead to Bouchard. Knocked off Bouchard's stick. Back down deep. Ryan Smith behind the goal. Eberle looking for a puck. Eberle in the corner, now to the half wall. And whistled down on the back wall. I assume against the Oilers.
Off goes Andy Sutton. And the opportunities continue to mount here for the Wild if they can take advantage of this. Interference to Andy Sutton. In front of the net, he cross-checks one of the Wild players. And so he goes off, and the Wild will see if they can get something going. Right there, watch this. Colton Gillies gets the brunt of the shot to the back.
Well, that might have been a little payback, but...
Well, but who really won that battle? They'd say Colton Gillies has the upper hand there because he draws the minor.
Colton really laid out Sutton earlier in this game, but the Wild on the power play for a fourth time in this game, trying to see. They had a little momentum going after the goal by Setaguchi. We'll see if they can continue that into the power play. Koivu and Heatley had helpers on the goal by Setaguchi. Held in. Spurgeon now to Bouchard. He'll hustle along the boards. Centers in the slot. Heatley with a shot. Rebound. Setaguchi could not get through all the bodies to get there. Setaguchi battling in the slot for it. Still stays in the zone. And finally, after several efforts, the Oilers able to clear their own zone.
Yeah, puck just pinballing around there as they whacked away at it.
Spurgeon will drop pass. He'll move it ahead to Mikko Koivu. Now to Heatley. Back to Mikko. Koivu along the boards. Back. Bouchard. Spurgeon. Heatley. Back out. Bouchard turns. He shoots. Pad save. Rebound in front. It comes out with a big rebound, and it's cleared just barely out across the line. That was Ryan Smith standing on it. Heatley turns and goes. Heatley across the line. Drop pass. Feathered across the line. Here's Pierre-Marc Bouchard moving in. Bouchard settles in at the half wall. Slot. Heatley turns. Shot. Save. Another nice rebound. This time Scandella comes up and knocks it away. Wild keep it alive in the zone. Hobby Bull has been giving them some nice rebounds. Here comes Cullen. Driving in. He hit the crossbar. Oh, what a skilled move by Matt Cullen. Cullen gives it to Bouchard. Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Back to the point. Marco Scandella dishes it off on the right side to Brodziak. His shot was blocked. It's loose in front. They battle away. They score! Tie game in it. Cullen gives it to Bouchard. Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Back to the point. Marco Scandella dishes it off on the right side to Brodziak. His shot was blocked. It's loose in front. They battle away. They score! Tie game in Edmonton.
Tie game in Edmonton.
That's how you crash, starting with the way Cullen went to the net, crossbars it, and then they stay with it, keep it in the zone, and Brodziak throws everything he had towards that net. And the Wild tie this game. Great, great effort by Kyle Brodziak.
Dirty.
Downright filthy. Now look at this shot. Stays with it as it's blocked, and then just keeps pounding away. It goes off his body and somehow trickles through Hobby Bulin.
Might have hit him in the breezers here.
Well, who knows? It's a poke check, actually. Here's the interesting thing. Hobby Bulin's attempt at the poke check knocked the puck off of the shin guard of Brodziak back towards him and into the net. So Hobby Bulin was his own worst enemy as Brodziak drives towards the net. It's going to be under review here.
Brodziak, the last couple of games, has played very well. He's been post happy. He's been hitting crossbars and pipes lately, and so he goes the other route and just grinds away at one. And looks like he's got himself a goal.
Watch his poke check right there, and it goes off the skate or a shin pad of Kyle Brodziak. They're probably looking to see if it went off of his glove, because then they'll say it's knocked in with a hand. But I really didn't see it. I think it went off, as you said, Dan, the breezers or the shin guard. And there they are trying to review it.
I'd be surprised if they can find any reason to overturn that one. And they'll take a look at any goal.
Here it is again. Let's take a look, see what it goes off of. Watch Brodziak as he comes right through. Poke check. And, it goes off his forearm, it looks like.
Back of his arm.
But it can go off his forearm just as long as he doesn't glove it towards the net. And there was no intent to glove it towards the net. It looked like it caught his forearm. And actually, I think his forearm was moving the opposite direction when it hit it. But hard to say how they'll rule this one. Because he did have body momentum moving forward. It wasn't so much his hand that swept it towards the net. They're having a really good long look at this one. They might naturally go to
it's
Toronto for this one.
Probably worth mentioning, Mike, that it was called a good goal on the ice, so it has to be conclusive to overturn it.
After reviewing the play, the call on the ice stands. Good goal.
There we go.
Yeah, I think that's the right call because there was no intent to glove the puck forward as it appeared to go off the arm of Brodziak. He just kept pushing away at it. Yeah, I think that's the right call because there was no intent to glove the puck forward as it appeared to go off the arm of Brodziak. He just kept pushing away at it even after it went underneath Javi Bulin as well. You could argue that that also, as it appeared to go off the arm of Brodziak, he just kept pushing away at it even after it went underneath Javi Bulin as well. You could argue that that also, as it appeared to go off the arm of Brodziak, he just kept pushing away at it even after it went underneath Javi Bulin as well. You could argue that that also, as it appeared to go off the arm of Brodziak, he just kept pushing away at it even after it went underneath Javi Bulin as well. You could argue that that also was, even after it went underneath Javi Bulin as well, you could argue that that also was what scored the goal, and penalty coming up for the Wild.
Well, the Wild even things up here in Edmonton. They'll be shorthanded when we return. If you're just joining us, here's our Grand Casino story of the game.
Second period here, the Oilers made it 2-0 on a backdoor power play goal, but look at Brodziak tying the game after a Setaguchi goal, and then Brodziak drives the net and gets the benefit of a good bounce off of him and great effort towards the net. Unfortunately, the next shift, the Wild get a high stick here. Watch, Johnson gets in there and he catches Payarvi with the twig. Goes off for 2 minutes.
Fourth power play of this game for the Oilers. They're 1 for 3 so far. Only a couple of shots on the power play. So the Wild have done a decent job of killing, but this is a pretty good team. They've got a lot of guys that like to play on the power play. Ryan Smith is one of them. He lost the puck. The Wild may have numbers here shorthanded, but they will slow it down and dump it deep in the zone.
Keep in mind, the Oilers are without Taylor Hall in this game, and he is a huge part of their offense, but they have so much good young players, so many of them, that they keep coming at you.
He'll be out 2 to 4 weeks with that shoulder injury. They were worried at first that it could be much more severe, so they're happy it's just 2 to 4. Gilbert leaves it back behind. He has been very durable in his career. He's just good for 80 to 82 games, it seems like, every season. Lundin trying to tie things up in the corner, gets a little bit of help. Now it's rimmed around to the near side. Coming back to get it is Eberle. He'll keep it in along the boards. Nugent Hopkins has the puck. He was the first selection at XL Energy Center in this summer's draft, and he is not disappointed. Backdoor, a shot, save made. Backstrom came out, challenged, and made the save.
And Colton Gillies took a stick, I believe, up high and looking for a call, not finding one. Great job by Backstrom, not falling for that one again. That's how Eberle scored earlier in this period.
Emsky lost the puck as he crossed into the Minnesota zone. Bobby Bulin back at the other end. Tom Rennie, coach of the Oilers this morning, said you win the specialty teams, you probably win the game. It's starting to look like that type of a game. He was exactly right. Whitney. It's rolling around. He settles it down, gets it to lay flat, dumped in front. Nice save in front by Stoner. That might have been dangerous if he doesn't get a piece of that one. Whitney to the corner. Sharp angle shot is partially fanned on. Nick Johnson is back on the ice, so the Wild have killed off another penalty. Centered in front, that's broken up. Back to the point. The Wild will poke it free. Stepping in front of it is Nick Johnson. Johnson moving in, cuts to the middle. Can he get a shot? If he does, but it goes wide in front. It looked like Ryan Whitney may have gotten a piece of that one.
Yeah, Nick Johnson looked like he wanted to single-handedly make up for that 2-minute minor on that line rush.
Well, there's coming out of the box, and then there's really coming out, and he was on the move. Here's a nice lead pass to Cullen. His shot didn't get through the defense. Heatley comes into the corner, poked free to Cullen. Cullen sets it up on the right side, a quick shot. That might have hit Heatley out front. Cullen got knocked down just inside the blue line, and it's cleared ahead to Payarvi, who dumps it back into the Minnesota zone. Scandella ran into Jones, I believe, with a big shoulder. And Scandella goes to the ice. Loose puck picked up. It was swatted away from Danny Heatley, who then spins back and goes to the bench. That was not Jones. That was O'Mara, who hasn't seen a lot of ice time in this game, but he comes in. Big, strong center iceman. Sutton rotates it across. Out to center. Hemsky flips it around the defense from center ice into the Minnesota zone. Spurgeon takes the hit, clears the puck along the boards all the way back down. This will be icing against the Wild. 1:35 remaining here in the second period. Look at all your high school hockey action with Fox Sports North Prep Zone, presented by Wells Fargo. Go to foxsportsnorth.com, click on the Prep Zone link, and watch up to 4 high school hockey games all at one time tomorrow at 7. Featured games include Benilde St. Margaret's at Hill Murray, Burnsville at Minnetonka, Jefferson is at Eden Prairie, Champlain Park is at Centennial. Enjoy high school hockey here on Fox Sports North.
Ken Pauley will join Anthony in studio in her second intermission. He's the Benilde St. Margaret's head coach. And Hobby Bullen getting some straps repaired there.
I don't know if that's wise to put a Benilde St. Margaret's
in the season.
Bouchard waiting for things to develop. Leads one ahead. Gillies will chase. Gillies reaches back. He got his shot off, but Hobby Bullen able to make the save, and Colton Gillies continues to play spirited hockey. Good forecheck by the Wild. That was Heatley and now Koivu. And it's turned over. Setaguchi tried to lay one out into the top of the circle to Mikko Koivu. Horkoff picked it off. There have been moments of brilliant forechecking in this game by the Minnesota Wild. Here's a shot saved, no rebound. Backstrom just gobbles that one up. Homestand. The Oilers win the draw with a minute to go in the period. All the way around behind. Ryan Smith couldn't get there because he was practically behind Nicholas Backstrom in the Minnesota goal. Out through center. Eberle rotates it back on defense. Up the middle, loose puck. Heatley got a piece of it, but it's picked off and dumped back into the Minnesota zone. Backstrom poked it away at the last second from Eberle. Here's Nugent Hopkins looking towards the goal. Fires in front. Backdoor shot missed by Eberle.
An open net, it appeared as well.
Puck picked off up in the slot. Led ahead, it bounces and skitters its way past Danny Heatley. Whitney is back to get it. Heatley missed on a check behind the play on him. Picked off out at center. Waiting now is Brodziak. Turns, fires, huge rebound off of Hobby Bullen, but nobody there in a white sweater. Nugent Hopkins leads it in on the left side. Now to Eberle. It got by Ryan Smith. Smith is hammered by Brodziak and knocked off the puck. And that's where the puck will be to end our second period of play. A nice rally once again by the Minnesota Wild. 4-4.
Wild did a great job in this period. They came out a lot harder. They were very physical, as were the Oilers, and they answered back and won that period.
Coming up in our intermission, Kyle Brodziak will join Robbie Inspakowski in just a moment, and a high school hockey preview, all coming up next. To get you up to date with a Bud Light What's on Tap for the Minnesota Wild. This starts a long stretch away from home. The Wild will play 20 of their next 29 on the road, and it starts out, well, at home against New Jersey, then at Anaheim, on the way to San Jose, LA, Phoenix, and it keeps going till about February.
Yeah, but that means there's going to be a payback at some point, and it's in March and April when you want to be playing in front of your home fans with a race to the playoffs.
This team has a winning record away from XL Energy Center, 5-3-2 coming into this one, and would like to add a 6th road win here tonight if they can, and add an 11th win in the month of November, which would be a franchise best. But they're in a battle here with this very scrappy young Oiler team, 2-2 after 2. That's Heatley along the boards right in front of the Edmonton Oilers bench, and finally Setaguchi just flings it across the rink. Cullen gets there before Gilbert, showing some good speed for Matt Cullen. Now along to Smead. Smead will lead it ahead, almost picked off by Nick Johnson on that forecheck. Ryan Smith ahead along the boards to Hemsky. Stoner takes up the chase. Clears it off the boards and all the way down, and this will be icing. We'll go back in the other end.
That kind of too early to pitch it in the hockey sense and all that, but I think it's a little too early to pigeonhole him into any kind of type of player. He's still developing, still learning the game in the National Hockey League. He's without question going to be a very talented one. He has 2 points in this game and has 11 goals on the season.
Last time these two teams played, he had 2 goals. He had a power play goal and an empty net goal, so he's already found a nice liking for playing against the Minnesota Wild. Wild will get flagged for another ice. 9 points now. Belanger chasing. Stoner is there. Zanin goes into the corner. Belanger chasing. Stoner is there. Stoner will send it down.
There's a third icing in a row by the Wild. And of course, that's what Coach Blood out there.
Out. Jones draws. Zanin clears it up high. This one will go down, but this one will be not far enough for icing. So the Wild will get a chance to change all 5 skaters on the ice. When tied after 2 periods, the Wild are 4-0 this season. They've been excellent. When tied after 2 periods, the Wild are 4-0 this season. They've been excellent. Here's Payarvi. Fires one. Big rebound, but it's cleared but not out. Back to the right point. Petrie's shot off the skate. Goes perfectly to Whitney, and Whitney inadvertently tosses it out across the line. Here's Brodziak. He and McIntyre get kind of tangled up, but Brodziak got it deep in the zone. Finishing my thought on the other side of things, the Oilers have struggled when tied after 2. They are 0-2-1 this season, when even going into the 3rd period. After 2, they are 0-2-1 this season, when even going into the 3rd period. This is Sean Horcoff. Had a goal against Minnesota and an assist a couple games ago. Sharp angle shot hit the side of the net. Backhander gets through traffic, picked up by Captain Mikko Koivu, and he'll backhand it into the Edmonton zone. Gilbert is back first. Koivu will come in with Schmid battling. Koivu goes down in the corner. Schmid continues to battle for the puck. Now it's tapped along the boards. Gagne can't get it. Lundin turns on his backhand. Tried to get it deep in the corner, but it's picked off. Here come the Oilers back. Off the boards, it's dumped in deep by Gagne. Lundin flips one ahead into the skates there of Setaguchi. Saw the hit coming from Schmid. Schmid carries in, hands it off along the boards to Gagne. Horcoff is waiting, but Gagne keeps it.
Oilers aren't afraid to pinch their D. We've seen it all game long.
Hemsky to the point. Horcoff, save, rebound, Gilbert. Gilbert has been in the offensive zone, down low in the offensive zone most of this shift. Now Schmid back at the left point. Horcoff was playing defense. Shot by Horcoff is deflected. He didn't get much on it after the deflection. It goes to the corner. Gagne has it. Gagne gives it up. Now it's Schmid.
Well, they're a little tired here, doing a lot of standing.
Gilbert tried to put one through for a deflection in front. It didn't make it, and the puck comes out. And the Wild to get a chance to at least change some here. A much-needed change on the fly as Edmonton comes out here in the 3rd period at home and tries to take over this game. Scandella to center to Cullen. Nice pass off the boards to himself. Cullen slams on the brakes, drops it back, pushed down low. Spinning is Johnson. Hit the back of the goal. Cullen turns and gets a shot off. That was steered away by Khabibulin. Nick Johnson doing yeoman-like work, trying to get that puck and dumps it back behind. Bouchard had it knocked off his stick by Sutton. Those two have battled a couple of times, and Bouchard has held his own. Here's Nick Johnson trying to drive in front. It's loose in front. They battle away, and it slides free. And a penalty coming up behind the play, I believe, against the Oilers.
They're watching his books. Give him a shot in the head. Just out of here.
How about Matt Cullen? Out TylerMasons.com. Already, it's a better season.
Mike goes free.
Play for a 5th time. Good job to keep that bouncing that position. They go to the back wall. Bouchard has it kicked free to him. Pierre Mark moving up along the wall, dumps it to the center of the ice. It's adjusted there for Mikko Koivu. That was Setaguchi who just kind of laid it down. Now driven in by Jared Spurgeon from center ice. Setaguchi behind for Koivu. Tried to get it back to Setaguchi, but they closed in on him too fast. Great job to keep it in by Bouchard. Spurgeon with a drive, and the save by Khabibulin, and no rebound.
That was a great keep by Bouchard. That puck was about 2 feet in the air, and he knocked it down and kept it in for the Wild shot on goal and a face-off in the offensive zone. Otherwise, they're chasing it all the way down. Look at this. Just a nice reach there, and a great hand-eye by Pierre-Marc, who you would expect to have very good hand-eye.
Bouchard had the game winner on Monday night against the Tampa Bay Lightning on a beautiful one-timer. Set up by Nick Johnson. Spurgeon again, and this one, he shows a little puck, but Javi Bulin jumps on it.
Well, some bodies in front this time, and Wilder hoping one of those squirts to the side rather than just in front where Javi Bulin can cover it up. But Javi Bulin's been very good. Watch this front. Watch the body come across the front right here. That's Setaguchi in front. That's how you screen goaltenders. You let them see the puck, then you step in front of them when it's on its way. And after that, it's a bit of a guessing game, and you hope you have your angle. And Setaguchi did a good job. Had a goal in that second period and tried to create another there.
This is Jared Spurgeon. Edmonton native would love to score against his hometown team. It's pushed deep into the corner. Under a minute to go now in the power play time, and this one will get along the boards. It got behind Heatley and past Spurgeon all the way down to Nick Backstrom at the other end. Wild will make some partial changes here. Here comes Spurgeon. To center, drop pass, Bouchard. Here's Cullen with a quick wrister and a blocker save made by Javi Bulin. Cullen gets tripped up going for that loose puck. Picked up by Nick Johnson. Johnson back to the point. He'll get through. Quickly across. Here's Bouchard. Chopping at it. It's pushed out to the glove with a glove out to the neutral ice. And the Wild will try to gain control on that rolling puck with 20 seconds to go in the power play. Brodziak walks in, fires a save, and the rebound was knocked away before the Wild could get to it, and it's cleared back down the ice again. Out comes Backstrom to play it. And the penalty time has expired on Theo Peckham, and the Oilers are back to even strength. 7 minutes into this third period. Tied at 2 here in Edmonton. A one-game road trip for the Minnesota Wild. Trying to move back up on, stay on top, I should say. 7 minutes into this third period. Tied at 2 here in Edmonton. A one-game road trip for the Minnesota Wild. Trying to move back up on, stay on top, I should say, in the Western Conference. Stovitz leads it into the Oilers zone. The Oilers will send one across the line. Here's Horcoff moving in, and a great poke check by Backstrom.
He recognized that Horcoff was coming in so fast that he would not be able to make an adjustment if he did that. And it's a bit of a gamble, but boy, he won that one. Great read.
Big save for Backstrom to keep this game tied at 2. And what a pass to Horcoff. He just barely stayed onside and took that puck full speed into the Minnesota zone. Zanin to full speed into the Minnesota zone. Zanin to Setaguchi. It's tangled up in his feet there right in front of the Minnesota bench, and Payarvi was right there as well. Carried in across the Minnesota line by Sutton. Had it in his skates for a minute. Bolger was relentless and finally came away with the puck. Schultz ahead. Swung at by Setaguchi. Deep in. Javi Bulin will play it away. Heatley's on the forecheck. Jones has to sidestep a hit by Heatley. Comes it back behind his own goal. This is Gilbert up on the left wing wall. It's flipped up high in the air by Sutton. Bounces one into the Minnesota end. Clayton Stoner has it there. Nugent Hopkins is chasing. Stoner off the boards. A touch there in the neutral zone, and it ends up back into the Edmonton zone. Gilbert has it. Stops, changes direction behind. Now it's bounced off the boards to Ryan Smith. He'll lead the puck ahead. He got it out of the zone. Now it's tied up in a little scrum in front of the bench area for Edmonton. And Ryan Smith will carry. Lost the puck at the blue line. Poked ahead by Bouchard to Johnson. And Johnson's shot was blocked. Whitney got it. His return pass was knocked away by Johnson. Dumps it in the corner to Bouchard. Out on top to Scandella. Spurgeon with a shot. It's wide. A lot of traffic in front of Javi Bulin on that one. Great back check by Nick Johnson to send it down low in the corner. Trying to come out of the corner, but rocked off the puck with Bouchard. Loose puck control. Nugent Hopkins makes his way to center. Leads one ahead to the speedy Magnus Payarvi. Payarvi and Scandella on the back wall. Nicely played by Marco. Back to the point. A little bouncing puck. Peckham with a shot. It opened up and Backstrom saw the shot. Made the save and hung on. Nicholas Backstrom with a big save here in the third when we come back. Let's take a look at our CenturyLink high-speed play of the game.
Well, this just is a terrific save by Backstrom, but look at that play as Horcoff catches it full speed. And I think it was because it was such high speed that Backstrom was able to execute a wonderful poke check. Backstrom has responded very well. Tough outing a couple games back. Responds well with a great game against Tampa, and now has played very well here against Edmonton.
Puck hit some bodies in front, and by the way that Lundin is getting up, I'm guessing it hit him. He hobbles his way to the Minnesota bench. Wild have been banged up a little bit. Cal Clutterbuck is no longer in the game. He took what looked to be a dirty hit from Whitney in the first period. Tried to come back in the second and could not. That's Gillies. Great battle for Colton Gillies along the wall. Jones rips one in off the glass behind the goal line in the Minnesota zone. Stoner sounded like it hit a shin pad. Brodziak couldn't reach back and get it. Payarvi driving in. Payarvi left it at the side of the goal, and Backstrom will just smother it.
Get off there. Busy a little bit. You're right. Open Edmonton Oilers bench right in the gate, and a couple of players have blocked shots, but they're still at it.
Tap back to Greg Zanin. Zanin tried to clear. Gagne knocked it down. A shot right on. A save by Backstrom. Good stop on a quick chance for Horcoff. Smead leads one in the middle of the point area. Now Hemsky working on it. Zanin was marking him. He stopped at the blue line. Tried to push it back down low. Koivu battling for it. It pops up in the air. He and Hemsky go after it. And then Hemsky sends it rink wide off the wall. And Stoner will send the puck loose through the neutral zone. Look at your shots on goal. Has evened up and remains very close. Zanin steals that one and clears. They waved off the icing immediately.
Both Zanin and Stoner tried to get off the ice. They saw the play come back the other way, and both scampered to the blue line again and finally got to make their change.
Andy Sutton has it. Intercepted by Cullen. Tried to send it back in deep. Knocked away by Sutton. And cleared ahead to Ryan Smith, working on Scandella. Gets some help from Spurgeon. Loose puck to Cullen. And now Nick Johnson to center. Very nicely controlled out of the neutral zone by Pierre-Marc Bouchard. In comes Cullen on the forecheck. Now Everly leaves it up along the wall. Picked up by Nick Johnson. Fires. In front is Cullen. He had to get out of the way because a big freight train was coming at him. That was Andy Sutton. Intercepted by Pierre-Marc Bouchard to Nick Johnson. Fires, and that goes off the stick of Theo Peckham of the Oilers and into the crowd and into the netting. That is out of play.
Well, Colton Gillies is in his response game, and he responded in many ways. Physical in this game like he can be. A couple of good scoring chances. That one in the second on a blast, and watch him get in here on the forecheck and get an opportunity again on Javi Bulin that stops him. Even some blocked shots in this game. Out there at the point, making a difference. So Colton Gillies doing what Mike Gill wanted him to do, and that is showing the confidence that Mike Gill showed in him.
McIntyre tried to sweep that one around front on a quick turnover as Colton Gillies was involved in another very good forecheck. Mike Lundin, after blocking that shot and being in some discomfort, is good to see that he's back on the ice again. He'll take the pass from Schultz. He'll lead it ahead to center ice through the neutral zone. Gillies off the boards. It's gloved and knocked down and controlled by the Oilers. Now across to Whitney. 7.5 remaining. We're at that point in the game where you wonder who's going to step up and make the big play. Who will be the hero?
Boy, rodeo's in town. Stoner got ridden by Payarvi there behind the net.
Both players up. No worse for the wear. Stoner's a big, strong kid. Payarvi just tried to leap over him and just didn't quite have enough vertical jump, I guess.
That's a tough leapfrog right there.
Sharp angle shot, the rebound, a pile up in front, and that stayed out.
Well, it's underneath Backstrom, thank goodness, because if it was underneath shot, but you quite.
Spurgeon. Now Scandella, watched by Horcoff. Nice play by Koivu. Redirected that puck from his own blue line right to the tape of Danny Heatley's stick, who gets it deep into the Oilers zone. Hemsky up the right wing side. He's caught from behind, gets it back, flips it up into the air along the right wing boards, and now Hemsky has it again. Heatley watching him now. Hemsky will move along the blue line, turns, looks, fires, stick saved by Backstrom. Well, Hemsky, another guy that's had a pretty good game. Early this season, back in October at Minnesota, he got injured, a shoulder injury that kept him out of the lineup for a while, and it's been very good for this team to get someone back with a little experience. Gloved and hung on to by Nick Backstrom.
By Setaguchi, and that man called
Tied.
2-2 hockey game down the stretch run here at Rexall Place. We're going to break it all down and a lot more on Wild Live, presented by CenturyLink, featuring the Toyota postgame wrap. We'll talk about the Wild rally. They went down 2-0, but goals by Setaguchi and that man Kyle Brodziak have us tied at 2. Players responding. Mike Yeo talked about that before the game. We'll talk more about that after the game, and we'll get Mike Yeo's postgame press conference. What do you think of his team's performance when they were down 2-0 to come back? You'll find out, and a lot more, Dan and Mike, on Wild Live, presented by CenturyLink.
Earlier this season, we were in this building, and the Wild needed a goal with 2 seconds remaining to tie the game, and that was Danny Heatley. That was back on October 20th. Both these teams looking for someone to come up with the big play to be the difference in this one, and we're under 6 minutes remaining. Nick Johnson, nice move, quick shot, saved by Javi Bulin. Cullen was right there, and Javi Bulin continues to be very tough.
Stopped a lot of point-blank shots in this game by the Wild, and the Wild forecheck is doing what it needs to do right here. Good job by Bouchard. Look at that one-hand feed, and then corrals Nick Johnson in the slot.
Well, it appears that with Cal Clutterbuck out, Nick Johnson is picking up a lot of extra ice time.
Yeah, he's jumping in different places. They've moved him around a lot, and he's responding in various ways. And he's been very versatile for the Wild.
Icing is waved off. Backstrom will play it away to the corner. Brodziak. Send it through center, where he found McIntyre, who got it deep into the Edmonton zone. Now the Oilers look up ice. Tipped ahead there by Payarvi. Spurgeon didn't see it, was lying behind him on the ice. Belanger from a sharp angle. Steered aside. Now Jones will send it out to the point. A quick shot from the right point, missed the mark. Gathering up the puck comes Colton Gillies. He's had a strong game. Gillies across the middle and tried a shot and almost collided. Maybe did collide there with Kyle Brodziak, as they were crisscrossing just inside the Edmonton blue line. Bouchard lost control as he made a spin move. Gets some help as Brodziak comes back to strip it away. Now it's picked up by Zanin, banks it off the boards and clears it ahead deep in the zone. Javi Bulin settling it down. Gagne at the wall. Lost it, didn't get rid of it quick enough. Cullen picks it off, now battling with Horcoff. It gets dropped back to Sam Gagne, rotates it right, they cross into the Minnesota zone. A little drop pass on the right side, and a shot from the right circle is gloved and hung onto by Nicholas Backstrom. In between these, Lundin lost to numbers there. Everly to Ryan Smith. He sends it into the corner. Knocked back down low. Koivu will take it away. Takes a little chop at Ryan Smith. Setaguchi battling inside the blue line. Battle one. Nugent Hopkins to Ryan Smith. Smith around a wraparound. It comes out front, and Setaguchi is the only man there. And Setaguchi will do a little chip and chase of his own. Cleared off the boards, out through center. Ryan Smith to the Minnesota line. Runs into Marco Scandella. Rotates it around behind and up the right wing wall. Setaguchi just flips one out to center ice. It's gloved and controlled there by the Oilers. They will backhand one deep in the zone, then switch on the fly. 3:21 left to go here in the third period. Brodziak, little rolling puck, couldn't get it to settle down long enough to take control. Petrie with a little touch pass and they'll work it out to center ice. Let in for the speedy Pay-RV, he couldn't get the puck. Now Brodziak the other way. Gets taken out by a nice hip check. Whitney has it. He's hit on the play by McIntyre. A loose puck and out come the Oilers again. Left side with speed, Pay-RV with a wrister on goal, and Backstrom makes the save, and you saw once again the speed of Magnus Pay-RV.
Backstrom not giving up any secondary opportunities here, and that's what you need. Pay-RV's been very visible in this game, as you mentioned. Look at the shots on goal here.
Cullen wins the draw. Bouchard sends it ahead. Nick Johnson will chase. Looks like it's going to be Peckham and Johnson going to the back wall, and Peckham got there just a little bit sooner. Now ahead to Ryan Smith. Slows it down, but it's broken up there. Stolen away by Nick Johnson. Now to Bouchard. Bouchard with a soft shot. Looking for a rebound, and he got it, but the White Sweaters weren't able to gain control. Ryan Smith lost it in the corner. Stoner gets spun off the puck by Ryan Smith. 2:15 to go here in the third. The Wild have had a knack for finding ways to get goals late. They have a lot of confidence at this point in the hockey game. Here's Bouchard across, off the stick of Cullen, and Cullen will just whack it down deep. Now picked up and controlled by Tom Gilbert. Wild finishing some changes on the fly, so Gilbert slowly to his own blue line. Headmans a pass out to center. Here's Horkoff with a shot. That was a high shot, and it was off a body and goes to the corner. Now Gagne drops it off down low into the slot. Horkoff tried a one-timer. Lundin came up with it off a block, and it's cleared all the way down. Icing is waved off, so Javi Bulin will play it. A minute and a half remaining here in the third period. Stolen away by Setaguchi. Setaguchi around behind, wanted to turn the corner, but it was not allowed. And here come the Oilers back the other way. We've been going up and down the ice for a good part of this third period. Hemsky, Short's got his stick stuck underneath the wall. Centered into the slot to Horkoff. Horkoff could not control it. Koivu does. Mikko makes a nice move at center, skating through some stick work, and lost the puck, and now Whitney has it. 1 minute remaining in the third period. Off of Jones into the Minnesota end. Scandella leaves it for Spurgeon. Here it's Spurgeon ahead. Redirected into the Edmonton zone by McIntyre, playing in his second game for the Wild.
How about that for confidence?
Wow. Pay-RV from the wall, blocker saved by Backstrom. Scandella and Belanger go after it. It's cleared ahead to Colton Gillies. Knocked back into the Minnesota zone. Oilers will change, and the Wild will take advantage and dump it all the way down into the Edmonton zone. 20 seconds to go. McIntyre tried to center. That was rejected. Back to the half wall, and now it's out to center, and here come the Oilers. With 10 seconds to go, a wrist shot in on Backstrom, and he'll glove it. And, of course, Ryan Smith is right there looking for a rebound.
Last time the Wild were here, there was less time than there is now in the game. And watch this. Throw it around. Heatley will bank it off the pad, and it rolls into the net. And that sent it to overtime, and the Wild went to a shootout and won that game. That was with 1.2 seconds left. There's 8.6 right now.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, there's oodles of time. Danny Heatley has had a knack for scoring big goals here this season.
Wild will stay here in Edmonton tonight. Fly home tomorrow morning. Javi Bulin, backhander, scores!
Down a little bit.
Yeah, did slow things down a little bit.
I mean, he headbutted the goalpost when he was done, but my goodness, that was a little tiny space. He put that shot in. Watch Happy Boolin's left pad go right to the post, and didn't make it in by much, but it did. Go right to the post, and didn't make it in. Shot in. Watch Happy Boolin's left pad go right to the post, and didn't make it in by much, but it did.
We're still going.
That's driving to the net right there. What a move by Heatley. Man, he just pulls his way to the net.
And the beat goes on here in Edmonton. Thanks for staying with us. And that's going to do it. Let's head to overtime. Extra hockey here in Edmonton. Thanks for staying with us. The Wild and the Oilers will go to a 4-on-4 Sutton. And the beat
going to crash the net. Oh, this I don't think was the type of move Smith wanted to make. He kind of ran into a problem of space. He ran out of it, and he just puts it right into the pad of Backstrom.
It will be Kyle Brodziak's turn. He
and goes 5 lamps. What a nice move there by Brodziak. He's our temp star of the game. He had a goal in the game, a good rebound that he scored in during the game, and then he gets the winning goal in the shootout for the Wild. Big 2 points here. The Wild finished November with 11 wins.
11 wins, Anthony, and once again, I know it's a stuck record, but this team once again finds a way to get a win, and they go home in first in the West.